Hi, it's Bumbleberry, and we're back in Chapter 4, Metamorphosis. So the second candle is lit. Its name is Philia, the love for friends. Let's go find out what's going on with Guillerme. The yellow candle shone and danced with her breath. Let this candle burn until its wick is spent. Encourage friendship, bring forth memories. Let me walk in his halls without any suspicion. Let me rummage through his belongings invisibly. His journal. He guards his journal fiercely. I must find it. Didn't he say that we could read it like a million moons ago? Oh, okay, I had to click something. I was like, darkness. Rosa adjusted her coat as she sat on one of the reserved seats. The theater was packed. The air buzzed with excitement. She hadn't realized this many people would come tonight. Oh, Mother, I wish they would stop staring at me. And why not? This was Madame Catherine Paredes' first solo concerto. Concierto? Her name had been slowly gathering recognition the past few years. It was feasible to expect a full house, so we're back in time again? Still, the turnout was more than they had expected. Paris had taken Rosa and Catherine by surprise. The sheer number of people and their liveliness were well above the usual sights of their small town. Catherine was obviously thrilled for the opportunity to play in such an esteemed venue for her debut. Rosa tried her best to keep her anxiety under control. This was for Catherine. Yes, for her. This was her night. Rosa took a deep breath and released it slowly. It relaxed her. I hope the show starts soon. Rosa's eye drifted towards the stage, and then to the throng of people gathered on her far left. In the middle of the huddle stood a familiar shape of a man. He had his back to her, but the posture and the build were unmistakable. That's Guillerme. Look at that little grin coming in. Her heart made a sudden gleeful jump. She's like, yes, give it to me. She was delighted that he had made it to Catherine's show. He had been traveling extensively recently. What if she walked over and made sure? Guillerme would greet her kindly. She was sure Catherine would be thrilled to know he was here. Rose pondered for a bit, reminded of a sudden wince of pain. Why? Why are you in pain? I don't understand. Soon the master of ceremonies obliged people to take their seats. Guillerme turned around and walked towards her. He stopped midway and took a seat without noticing her presence. Rosa seemed deep in thought. What's wrong, sweetheart? Is something bothering you? Nothing, Mother. Don't lie to me. She's like, I'm going to find out what's wrong with you. I live inside your brain. I just didn't expect to see him here, that's all. Oh, I see. It is the same problem, isn't it? I don't know. I don't think she's worried about Catherine. Catherine's going to be excited. Does Guillerme's presence upset you? Of course, why focus on Catherine's performance when Guillerme is just over there? Well, go on then. Why don't you approach him? Ask him about his travels, his work. Tell him about the books you've read. And then listen to him talk about Catherine as if the girl is worth gold. As usual. Clearly, you're more fabulous. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Oh, you're making your life so complicated, darling. Why do you even bother yourself with these people? Ooh, I shouldn't say it's obvious that she will abandon you. He kind of looks at you. I don't know. I guess he has too much to look at. I don't know. He's probably not our type. Do you like being so miserable? It saddens me to see you like this. He has eyes only for Catherine. Must you always impose your presence like a little dog? It's not like that, Mother. We're friends. Friends. Darling, friendship is nothing but a shallow kind of relationship. People change friends as easily as the weather. You don't even remember the friends you made at a certain age. I don't know what to say. Friendships don't last, or family is more important. I'll just say family's more important. I'm the only one who will care for you forever, darling. A mother's love will endure. Oh gosh. I'm so scary. This bond can never be broken by time or absence. Family lifts you up. It saves. Of course you feel this way. You see them often. But when you lose touch, you're left with nothing but a collection of strangers. And believe me, my dear, they will leave. They always leave. You amuse them now, but soon they will abandon you too. Rosa's tongue felt bitter in her mouth. She was filled with annoyance for her mother. Wasn't happiness as fleeting as friendship? Yet it was not any less real than sadness. Yes, family was important. These familiar bonds kept her from losing herself. It was her rock, her foundation. I'm useful, yay! But were these bonds the only constant value? These friends, these were people who accepted her. They shared laughter and tears, their own regrets and dreams. In her heart, she had found a home with them. She made a family. What more was needed? Rosa's confused feelings began to arrange themselves neatly in her mind. Guillerme and Catherine's happiness was important to her. That was the main thing. She knew they felt the same way for her. Her insecurities were real, but they were insignificant. If anything, they were bittersweet. She had no regrets. For the first time in her life, she wanted to talk back to Mother. What? Over that? Over that? I have said some horrible things as Mamala, and then her saying, like, this friendship might not last, and this rich dude might not keep you in his house forever. That's what upsets you? She bit her lip, quelling the nerves as she opened her mouth to speak. I know that. What? I know that Catherine matters to him more than I do. I know they might abandon me one day for whatever reason. It might be today, or next year, or even sooner. But that doesn't matter in the long run. I'm happy with them. We've had years together that I will treasure. Like I treasure memories of you too, Mother. Aw, that's cute. That's a nice way to diffuse it. My memories of you keep me sustained. That is why I love you. The years we spent together, no matter how fleeting, are still worth something. So let me care for them right now. Everything changes, but nothing is lost. Interesting. Rosa was sure she had read it somewhere. Rosa waited for Mother to answer with a vicious voice, to burst out screaming at her cheekiness. But no voice came. Rosa smiled to herself. The lights dimmed. A low hush descended on the pews. Soon Catherine entered, clad in the loveliest gown and an even lovelier smile. She was beautiful. She belonged on the stage. The lights shone on her, but they paled in comparison to her radiance. Catherine bowed to the audience and took a seat in front of the piano. She began to play. Very nice, Catherine. Rosa is excited by this. There's a surge of emotion with every note. Those of you who have Netflix or just the internet, Your Lie in April is an amazing anime. So much emotion, so much music. If you want to cry like a baby and just feel amazing about it, watch that show. A kind of energy passed through her, touching her skin and making her break into goosebumps. Oh, Catherine. Rosa hadn't known of such an effect before this moment. Music that could strike the heart as if it was fiddling with the soul. It was different from practice, different from when she was performing in front of smaller groups. This was a stage, and here was a woman with strings. She was tugging the right keys, touching your heart and electrifying your soul. Rosa realized she wasn't alone in this feeling. The whole room was mesmerized. She looked at the lady beside her seat. She had her hand to her open mouth. A teardrop dangled precariously in her eye. The man to her left seemed to have forgotten to blink. Rosa beamed and savored a rush of kinship with them. They were experiencing the same emotions with her. It made her love them just a little bit. Rosa closed her eyes and savored the night. So she's identifying with people. A bead of sweat fell from Catherine's chin. She was out of her body now. Her stress from the beginning of the show had thawed and turned into passion. Yes! It ran down her fingers to the keys. It did not escape Catherine's notice that most people in the crowd came to the show to gawk at her. Catherine Paride, the one the infamous Marquis de Gaulle had been courting for years? Didn't he pay for this event? Lucky broad. Catherine Paride, I heard she was some pianist. Any good? Who knows, must be. If even that Marquis is chasing her. Is he like a talent sucker or something? Catherine Paride. Some female pianist. Pretty face, nice flesh on her. Let us watch her show. Her fingers caressed the keys, playing them with the force of her heart. Did she play to prove them wrong? Her music saturated the theater with her fervor. No, not to prove them wrong. To set it right. Catherine Paride is my name. I am more than just a pretty face. I am playing this piece for you. It is my gift. Let me touch your soul. That's awesome. Rosa felt her eye get moist. This was Catherine's heart transcribed into music. All energy and beauty with the strength of the wind. The mischief of a sudden gale that whips at ladies' skirts and tips gentlemen's hats. The cold breeze that carried the loneliness of the coming winter. Everyone in the audience felt it. Rosa searched for Guillerme's face in the darkness. She couldn't see him clearly, but it didn't matter. She knew what he was feeling. She felt it too. Rosa's heart began to ache. It was a sting that she didn't know how to name. I love that they had played that piece. Oh, it's so powerful. The reason I talked about Your Lie in April is because there's a powerful scene with that music too. Ah, music is beautiful. Anyway, after the show, Rosa greeted Catherine in her backstage dressing room. She was smothered in flowers from the audience. Sweat glistened on her forehead. Catherine gave her a tight hug. Congratulations, Cath. You were marvelous on stage. Thank you, Rosie. Catherine covered her cheeks with her hands. I'm still shaking. The excitement from the stage hasn't left. Look at my hands. Oh, dear. So I would call this show a success, yes? Pour the champagne, Sherry. It's a night to remember. Catherine and Rosa hugged again. Let me just finish up here, Rosa. I don't know if I want to be French today. I'm not feeling it. Maybe I am. I don't know. We'll see. Then we'll celebrate properly. Two young ravishing ladies sampling the best of what Paris has to offer. I like it. Rosa laughed. Just don't let go of my hand. You might get lost being so starry-eyed. She looks like she's drunk, doesn't she? She looks like she's about to kill someone with like her cramped hand and everything. She was teasing but smiling brightly all the same. I would never. Anyway, shall I meet you outside in a few minutes? Very well. I'll see you later. Rosa was thankful to leave the backstage area. Look at all these flowers. Very nice. She'd almost forgotten her anxiety during the show, but the backstage was an ill reminder of the crowd. She looked forward to the night ahead, wondering vaguely why she hadn't mentioned Guillerme's presence to Cath. She shrugged it off. I mean, I'm sure he would tell her that he was there. You're about to talk to her again. You can just tell her then. It had simply slipped her mind. That was all. Or was it? Dun, dun, dun. Catherine went back to her dressing room, humming as she was about to grab her coat. She wasn't the least bit tired. Visions of city, exploring new sights, and gaining experiences made her giddy with excitement. It will end the night on the best note. She was sure. A small knock interrupted her thoughts. Who's there? Catherine turned around and the cheerful smile froze on her face. Uh-oh, somebody's back. She looks like dumbstruck, like, huh? I mean, I guess he's pretty hunky. The Marquis peeked from the open door and stepped inside. Hello, Cath. A tingling passed through Catherine's neck. Although she was aware he had returned, this was the first time she'd seen him in 2 years. After she rebuked his intentions of wooing her. Catherine shook her head at the memory. They grew up together. It was normal to develop feelings for someone you shared most of your life with, was it not? Yet Catherine had promised herself not to dabble with the Marquis. With all the rumors and the past flings, it felt like she knew too much. Too complicated, she had reasoned. That's fair. You know, I would be a little suspicious of going out with him. He has a history of successful courtships and lots of heartache. Plus, he dated her sister. Like, that would be kind of gross. The rumors were still alive in some circle. Hadn't Guillerme come clean with his romantic escapades? Hadn't he vowed to be faithful since he had made his intentions clear? Who to believe? Perhaps it was possible that... Catherine pushed away the insinuation of that last thought and rearranged her face into a merry smile. Ha 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 ha! Was that merry? She curtsied. My lord Marquis, thank you for coming. The last bit came out too loud in her ears. It felt like her voice was compensating. She suppressed a groan. I hope you found the show satisfactory? My Lord Marquis. Did I have an accent for him? I did. What happened to the Gilly monster? At once the memories flooded her mind. Oh, she looked so uncomfortable. That used to be her greeting every time she had visited him back then. She would scream that when she saw him, right before she flung her arms around his neck. Catherine didn't know what to do with her hands. The hands that had never betrayed her felt like they belonged to someone else. She cleared her throat and felt the smile harden on her face. Pardon my past slights, sire. I was a bit of a rambunctious child. After all, I must give my due respects to the sponsor of this event. Thank you, by the way. It didn't have to be so extravagant. Wasn't it your dream to play in Paris, Kath? By the way, his name isn't Guillerme, I guess. It's Guilleme? Guilleme? I don't know. I always thought it was an R and an N, but it's an M. I thought your debut would be the perfect opportunity to fill that dream. The Marquis stepped into her quarters and closed the door. Catherine flinched, afraid that the small room would draw him even closer. Just the effect he wanted, probably. The sly fox. She floundered for a bit and contented herself in fussing with the flowers on the table. She should chase him out. Why wasn't she chasing him out? 'Cause you like him. Merde, Catherine. I didn't think you'd be attending tonight, sire. Weren't you traveling? Yes, I was. But I wouldn't miss your concerto for the whole of France. Guillaume stepped forward. And it seems my investments were well placed. Oh my gosh, she's gonna explode from the excitement. Guilleme drew closer to Catherine, so near that she could smell the mint in his breath. He appeared to reach out to her face, but changed direction at the last minute. Oh, these flowers are from the Duke. How pretty. He examined the card dangling a hair away from Catherine's ear, trying to look fascinated by the piece of decorative paper. Then he stepped back, grinning like an idiot. He has really good taste. Wherever did you learn that, muckhead? If he had thought that kind of play would make her swoon, then he was dead wrong. In fact, all it made her want to do was wipe the stupid grin off his face. With the backside of the vase. All right. Catherine, show him how it's done. Yes, he does. Doesn't he? She gritted her teeth, unable to take the acidic edge off her voice. It wouldn't be so hard. All she had to do was grab the neck of the expensive vase and fling it at his head. She wasn't sure if the vase would break. Maybe not. Maybe she would need to hit him again for the full effect. All right. Dedication. Catherine, did you hear what I just said? Huh? I said, now that I'm back in town, would you consider playing for me again? It was part of our original arrangement, after all. She felt the tendons in her neck tighten. I have a full schedule this week, sire, but I'll let you know when I'm free. He's like, what? Oh. Sire, I must retire for the night. I am exhausted from my performance, after all. Excuse me. Catherine turned around and went for her coat, but she felt Guillerme grab her hand. Wait, yes? They stared at each other for a couple of seconds. Guillerme looked like he was about to say something. His mouth opened and closed as if debating the correct words in his head. But he just dropped Catherine's hand a moment later. I'm sorry. You're right. You must be tired. His shoulders dropped. Catherine felt a tinge of disappointment, but she ignored it quickly. Guillerme let out a sigh. You know I am not good at this, Catherine. Oh, what do I know? You seem to do just fine. You have an amazing track record. Huh? Catherine folded her arms over her chest with a pout. Oh, that. That is just because of my face. He looks so sad. He's like, I'm so handsome. No one appreciates me for me. You're rich. You have a beautiful pianist and a really weird family history, I'm sure. What? Most people think I'm very deep and thoughtful when I stare at them like this. He narrowed his eyebrows. He does look that way. Rosa's just like, what is happening? Or not Rosa. I keep thinking her name is Rosa because of her hair. Catherine's like, what are you trying to do with your face? I think he looks very thoughtful and distinguished, but for all I know, he's like a succubi serial killer. I just run with it. Catherine bit her lip to prevent the chuckle from escaping, but the laughter burst out from her. He hadn't changed at all. Before she could stop herself, a mischievous smile appeared on her lips. No, actually, it is your inability to make big gestures, Gilly. Huh? Well, look at you. She copied his tight, alert posture. You stand as stiff as a board. I guess it fools people into believing you're a graceful, dashing soul. Guillerme made a pout. I am dashing, though. Maybe. Au contraire, monsieur. I did have the misfortune of being victim to your dancing. Uh-oh. Must you always bring that up? It was a long time ago. He looked so distressed that Catherine couldn't help but tease him further. I mourned the death of my little toe, sire. I liked that toe. It was a traumatic experience. Before long they were laughing like it was the most natural thing in the world. His version of laughing is like pained, like oh, I can't. When did it change? Hadn't it always been like this? Catherine settled back into her own skin, mulling the confusion in her veins. Kath. She looked up at him. Her own emotions stung her. You can't keep running away from me. Yes, I can! Her hands tightened around her resolve for lack of a solid thing to hold on to. Perhaps not, but I've already given you an answer. I am aware. And? I have tried to accept it. Please don't take offense, but I thought it would be easy. I left to clear my head, to fill my mind with other things. Traveling usually does the trick. For a while at least, I thought I was successful. But even during my trip, I would catch myself thinking about such absurd things, like, I wonder what Kath will say when she sees that. No, I don't think Catherine will like this too much. Well, Kath used to say. It was funny, but also a little infuriating to know you have never left my mind. So I wish I knew how to do this. He sighed. I am too used to people leaving me, that I do not know how to quit on my own. Aww. It must bother you, the amount of lovers I had in the past. I am sorry for that. I almost wish I really was that adept. But, like I told you, most were simply rumors. You slept with her sister. That was not a rumor. The rest were people realizing I am not as interesting as they had initially thought. Way to sell yourself, man. You know, I didn't sleep with that many people. Most people found me boring after like 2 minutes. And you want her to marry you? You're saying you're boring in the pretty face, trophy husband? Guillerme. Or sugar daddy, I guess I should say. They never stay long, Kath. One could say I'm amazing with first impressions. There is a nagging feeling that that's all I'm ever good for. A sort of exotic trophy people like to collect for its sake, then put aside when its novelty expires. I can't blame them. By now I am quite sure I am what is wrong. What? What are you wrong? I must be better at letting people go. But you, please don't make me let go. You see through me, Kath. In your eyes, I feel like I am somebody worth loving. Is it any wonder I'd like to continue thinking of you fondly? Old habits die hard, I suppose. Catherine bit her lip. Those are impressive words, sire, but you have a point. My point? It's simple, really. I don't think I'll be able to stop my feelings for you. Oh. You may reject me as many times as you wish. It will not change. I have already come to the conclusion that I don't mind. Oh my gosh, take no as an answer, sir. I understand you love her, but just like give her snacks and flowers, and then, don't creep on her. He shrugged. So I propose that either you get used to me chasing you, or you give in to my dashing, tall-mashing charms. Catherine chuckled despite herself. Or I could just kill you with the Duke's fashionable vase. Whoa! Please do not give my superior the pleasure. I would rather you rip my heart out of my chest and offer it as a dark sacrifice to the gods. Gory. Very poetic. Dashing points for you. You think so? I've been reading a lot of romance novels lately. Oh my goodness, look at you. What kind of romance novels are you even talking about? I figured I must learn to be more suave to make the lady of my dreams swoon. Is it working? Catherine laughed. Hardly. I believe this is how they do it in the big finale. Guillerme cleared his throat and knelt down on one knee. They're getting married! Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. But that's a cute little picture. Don't you guys think so? They could be happy, but they don't get happy. Despite, I can't change anything that happens with them. My choices, I don't know how much they affect the universe. He took Catherine's hand awkwardly, trying to act as natural as he could. His serious face made Catherine burst out laughing. I don't speak French. Que folie! What in the world are you doing, idiot? Stop laughing, madame. I must try this at least once. I am simply concerned for an older gentleman and his knee. Would you be able to stand up from that position later, given your obvious grace? Guillaume chuckled. Terrible. Dare you call me an old man? I don't look my age, you know. Sure. Oh, stop laughing, will you? I'm trying to concentrate. He cleared his throat again. Will Mademoiselle Catherine Paride allow me an audience tonight? As such, perhaps she might allow me to stay by her side for a while longer. It would make me a very happy man. It was sappy and ridiculous, and yet hearing the words did stir Catherine's heart. They were giggling like fools now, like children, her heart heavy with love for him. Love? Did she just think love? Of course she did. She had always loved him. Why was she fighting her feelings again? Because he has a sordid past and mystical powers and dated her sister, and her sister is now dead, and you have a lot of baggage, young lady. But I'm sure he does too. But he does seem persistent and fairly, I don't know if honest is the right word. Romantic. The reason seemed unclear all of a sudden. All right, sire, your gallantry has convinced this lady to accept your offer tonight. She bowed with an exaggerated curtsy. Guillaume took her hand theatrically just as he was standing up. This gentleman is relieved he didn't have to sing. A few rules for tonight. As we are in Paris, you must be on your best behavior. No embarrassing jokes like making friends with the street mimes. Agreed. As such, I must retire by 8. 10. 8! 9:30. 9, take it or leave it. Ugh. Guillerme grumbled, but Catherine just chuckled at his frustration. Fine. 9:15 it is. Sire, I meant 9 sharp. Yes, she has to be up and beautiful. Guillerme's face brightened like a little boy's. Oh, I know where we can go. There's a quaint little piazza just south of here. They have a breathtaking view of the city. They're on a hill, you see. I know the owner personally, so we're already guaranteed the best seats. And they serve the best pomme de terre, stuff. Gratine again? If you continue eating that at every opportunity you get, soon there'll be no potatoes left in all of France. I don't really know what gratine is. What's gratine? Let me know. Catherine sighed. Why must he be so... perfect? Nope. This better not be a game like all your other flings, sire. I deserve to be treated like more than a prize. That's what she was just showing people. She's a muse. She's an inspiration. A talented... virtuoso. That was the word I was looking for. But Catherine watched Guillerme's face beam as he talked about that little house on the hill. How, when the weather was perfect, the stars would soak in the sky. She giggled to herself with fondness. What a dolt. A night in Paris, and he would rather eat cheesed potatoes. It was just like him to pick the stars instead of the city, wasn't it? It pleased her to know that she adored this side of him that others did not see. But was this the real him? Did she really see through him like he said? Or was this a face he put on for her sake, like most flirts could? If it was, then she had been watching his face since she was a little girl, from awe to admiration, from friends to lovers. They had seen the best and worst of each other throughout the years. Surely there was something to that. Surely it couldn't all be a lie, right? I'm sorry, I got carried away. Shall we go? Yes. Catherine grabbed her coat and Guillerme took her purse. Oh, I almost forgot. Rosa's waiting outside. Then let us hurry and meet up with her. Classy move. Always include the bestie. I haven't seen her for a long time. I missed her too. It will be a treat to spend the evening with two esteemed ladies. She'll be thrilled to see you. Just like old times, us three. Yes. She slipped her hand on his arm nonchalantly and caught Guillerme's smile to himself. At the very least, let that smile be real. Holy smokes!
And that's where we're going to leave it for now. So next time we'll find out what they're fighting about this time. Hope you enjoyed the concert, and I'll see you next time. Stay sweet!